Hello knitters. In this segment, we're going to talk about decreasing. So I'm in the process of making a hat, and it's time for me to shape the top of my hat. And that's where decreasing comes in by reducing the number of stitches that I have. It brings the sides in so I can shape the top of my hat. So one of the most common ways of doing this is with two different types of decreases. One is called knit two together. In a pattern, it will usually say k2tog, so knit two together. And the other one that it's matched with is called SSK, or slip slip knit. So the combination of these two decreases are what's forming the shape of the top of my hat. So if you take a look, these are the decreases. I have one row of decreases on this side and one on this side. And in the middle, between the two of them, is just a knit stitch. So on top of each of these knit stitches, on one side and on the other side, I have a knit two together and an SSK. And the reason they end up being paired together is because one slants in one direction, one slants in the other direction, and it gives this nice uniform edge. This side sort of going towards the right and this side going towards the left. So this is the knit two together and this is the SSK. Knit two together leans to the right, SSK leans to the left, and it creates this nice column of stitches that are decreasing and shaping my work. So let's take a look at how to make them. The first stitch that we'll do is a knit two together. So that's k2tog. Some people say k2tog, but it's knit two together. And that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to take my needle, and instead of going through one stitch to knit it, I'm going to go through both stitches at the same time and knit them together. So now where I had two stitches before, you can see one's there and the other one's here, coming out of there is just one stitch. So let me do that one more time. Instead of knitting just one stitch, I'm going to knit two stitches together. The SSK, or slip slip knit, describes what we're going to be doing. I'm going to slip this first stitch from my left needle to the right needle, going through that stitch as if I were going to knit it. I'm just going to slide it off. And I'm going to do that with the second stitch too, because this is an SSK, slip slip knit. Now I'm going to go into these two stitches with my left needle, keeping that needle in the front and knitting them together now to create that left leaning decrease. So what's really happening with an SSK is by taking the stitch and slipping it knitwise, I am actually twisting that stitch half a twist. And when I put my left needle back into those stitches and knitting them together, I'm really knitting through the back loop of these two stitches that have been twisted. So when you're doing this decrease, you can do it in two steps if you want to. You can do it as a slip slip knit, this way, or you can do it in 2 steps. Slip, slip. Put those stitches now purlwise back on your left needle and knit through the back of those 2 stitches. It ends up being exactly the same decrease, but it's done in 2 steps instead of 1. So slip, slip, bring your left needle through those 2 stitches, keep it in the front and knit them together, or slip, slip, put those stitches back on your needle, and when you do that, you'll see that instead of having this leading leg in front and higher, now that leading leg is in the back. And then knit those 2 together through the back of the loops. So, oops, that is how you do 2 mirrored decreases, then knit 2 together, and the SSK.